playing a top 10 Georgia squad here tonight as the first pitch comes in outside. I would imagine, you mentioned earlier, anybody gets on base, they're getting the green light.
Yeah, I mean, and you know that when you're on defense, so you have to kind of play into it, and, you know, you call pitches strategically, and you got to be ready for it.
2-0 the count here to Denver Lauer. That one's in there for a strike, 2-1. Now we're the center fielder, .333 hitter on the season. 2-1, got a piece of it in there, 2-2.
And looking at her stats, you know, she's 31 stolen bases out of 35, so she doesn't get caught often. So when she gets on, she's going.
Goes outside and gets away. Yeah, there's some pretty beefy numbers there. 35 attempts for her, 12 for Deal. Perfect 16 for 16. Thomas there a little further down the lineup, and then 24 and 16 attempts respectively for Polk and Johnson there in the 8 and 9 spots. So this is an aggressive group as the 3-2 comes in there and is fouled away.
And I think that says a lot when you have multiple people in your lineup that have multiple stolen bases.
Yeah.
You're creating opportunities for your team to score and getting your team in scoring position, which a lot of times for hitters makes it a lot easier to see the ball and hit it.
3-2 is swung on and missed for strike 3. Lauer is retired on strikes. And that will bring up Alana Deal. 1-0 to Deal. One and one, USC Upstate leads the Big South Conference 9-1 in its last 10 games. Popped up. Chris Hawkins there, over at third base, head coach for USC Upstate. Here's the 1-2. 2-2. 30 seasons with USC Upstate. He's won a lot of softball games.
That's my whole life. Minus a couple years.
2-2. Just outside, count 3-2. We mentioned this squad makes that short drive down Interstate 85 nearly every season for a midweeker against Georgia. And they're always really well coached, well prepared. They play hard. As the 3-2 is sent foul.
And I think they are both coming off different weekends. You know, you have Upstate who did well, won games this weekend. You had Georgia who fell against their SEC opponent this past weekend. And so this game is always interesting during the midweek is to see where everybody is mentally and who's going to come out on top. What does that first inning look like? It's kind of like a poker game, like trying to figure out who's making these moves and what move are we going to make here.
Yeah, they swept Presbyterian in conference play over the weekend. So Deal walked on a 3-2. Here's Celeste Lorenzo. Keep in mind, Deal is 11 for 12 on the season in stolen bases, so we'll be watching her there at first. Righty on lefty matchup here for Orcutt. That one gets high and gets away. Runner's going to take second. They're going to call her back to first. They're going to call her out. So she must have left early here, and
that was on the umpire.
Yep. Deal's going to be recorded out. For leaving early.
That was pretty close.
She had it timed up just a little too well.
Before this year, I would have said she got a late start. But with the rule change and being able to replay that, it's tough on the runners because you, in your mind, you literally have to leave late.
Yeah. So here's 3 straight pitches that Orcutt has missed on. 3-0 gets in there for a strike. A couple of those getting over the head of Davis.
I think she's really trying to work her rise ball, maybe a low rise, and it's just getting away from her.
One just misses. So a strikeout and 2 walks to open the game here for Riley Orcutt. That'll put a runner at first with 2 away.
And I think a lot of times the first inning for pitchers is, you're trying to figure out what the strike zone is with the umpire. You're trying to get, synced in with your catcher. So I think it's really important for Orcutt here just to go right at them, establish your strike zone, establish your pitches, and just pitch with confidence and trust your spin.
Played umpire. Cameron Ellison giving Lindy Ray Davis a moment to adjust her mask. This one's popped back out of play. So it's Carson Shaw, the batter. Summerville, South Carolina native. .272 hitter on the season in the 4 spot.
And you see when you go right at them, you see what they're going to swing at. And she was ready to swing that first pitch right there by Orcutt. And so now you're in the driver's seat. You're in control.
Two and one. DeLorenzo 3 for 4 in stolen bases here on the season, the 2-1. Runner at first.
I think if you're Upstate here, you notice a lot of the balls that Orcutt is throwing, they're high. They're out of the zone high. So if I'm a hitter, I'm going to make her bring the ball down. So we call that zoning down. And then that forces Orcutt to bring the ball down. Otherwise, it's going to be a ball. And you can see they're not swinging at her high pitches a lot. Her rise ball a lot. Rise ball out of the zone, high fastball. They're not swinging at it. So she's going to have to establish an east-west pitch, maybe a drop ball lower in the zone, and then be able to use that rise ball.
Ground ball to second, underhand for 1. And that'll get the inning concluded here for USC Upstate. Leads the SEC for this Georgia squad. Dallas Goodnight, Lindy Ray Davis, Jada Kearney here in the first inning for Georgia. 33-10 on the season. See Dallas Goodnight's numbers, had the grand slam over the weekend in Lexington over the Wildcats.
Yeah, that was a big hit. Her first home run of the season, I believe.
Yep. First career Grand Slam.
And I think what makes Goodnight, so just she has 3 different things she can do. She can bunt, she can slap, she can hit. And she's been getting on base nonstop for the last couple weekends. And in this leadoff spot, that's really important because depending on the situation, like she can hit a grand slam or she can put a bunt down.
Yep.
She has a ton of speed, so if she does get on base, like that's a plus.
Yeah, if she gets on base, she is a threat for sure. Ten stolen bases on the season, leading the team. Getting a piece there. We talked at the Open, just getting down to crunch time, last midweek game of the season for Georgia. 2 more regular season SEC series left, and this is a Georgia squad. The SEC is good. Every team is good, and it is incredibly deep, and it is very hard to win games, especially on the road, as the 3-2 is grounded to second. That one's going to bounce off the glove, and Goodnight will be aboard at first. And the leadoff hitter aboard for Georgia. But it's kind of time for Georgia to maybe
in their grooves.
Yep.
Just everybody's working on, their teams. And you have to be able to be successful and execute situational hitting. And I think that's big time. And I think watching Georgia the last couple weekends, they just haven't had that one hit. They haven't had that one hit to turn over the inning, to put a little extra insurance runs on the board. So really looking for them to do that here in this game and then really keep working on doing that for the rest of the season.
And Tony Baldwin said that Arkansas series, there was just a few moments in that series, a pitch here, a pitch there, that Georgia could have won that series. If anything, maybe even got a sweep. And then you go to Knoxville, the run production slows down a little bit against some good pitching, but Georgia's a pitch away from winning that series, coming down to a home run that they gave up in the bottom of the 6th inning on Sunday. So everybody's good. It's hard to win. That just tells you how close the competition is. But if you're Georgia, you've got some serious postseason aspirations, and Tony Ball.
They're right in all these games, and it just is coming down to one pitch, one hit.
Ground ball by Davis, and they may have Goodnight in a rundown. She'll dive back, and it's going to be a double play. And that's going to clear the bases off with 2 away. And Dallas Goodnight got aggressive there going second to third. And USC Upstate did not fall for it.
I think when you're in the position that you're in right now in your season, you don't want to force things to happen. And I think right here, she kind of forced that base running a little bit, trying to be over-aggressive, and Upstate was just ready for it.
You could see a little bit of reaction out of Tony Baldwin. I don't think he wanted her coming to third there.
Knowing who you have coming up with a runner on second, staying at second is probably your best bet in that situation. But that, that's part of the game, and those are, easy fixes that you can address and then move on and not do that again.
2-1 to Kearney. To the shortstop. And it'll be a 1-2-3 inning for the Spartans here. We head to the second, scoreless in Athens.
And I would look for Backus to stay with that high pitch, to stay with her rise ball in. That's her bread and butter. She'll go high in, tight in on righties, and then she'll come in with her changeup. So I think for Upstate, it's really just picking a height that you want to hit and laying off the high stuff and being really aggressive, waist down.
Off the plate. Quick play, not in time, and a good piece of hitting there by Talia Thomas. Thomas just deadened that thing off the plate.
Hey, it's a hit.
It is a hit, and Lindy Ray Davis had to get to it quickly.
It's a tough ball to defend because it has the high hop. Nobody but Lindy Ray is close enough to, get it and go to first with it.
First hit of the evening for USC Upstate. And here's Cassie Norris, the reigning Big South Player of the Week.
And Thomas is 16 for 16 with stolen bases, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see movement here on first from her. But, you see with Cassie pulling around a bunt, they want to move the runners. They trust their hitters to put the ball in play. They want to move the runners, get them in scoring position. And like I said earlier, I think it's important to, as you move through the season and progress and go into postseason, you want to be able to execute situational hitting. And that includes being able to put bunts down. And when your name's called, being able to do your job.
Yeah, you talk about laying a bunt down.
Yeah.
That was great. That thing took about a foot bounce and just stopped.
I mean, you have your player of the week last week. They went 7 for 12, who batted close to 500, a little bit over 500. Putting bunts down. So that's when your name gets called, you got to put the bunt down.
Yep.
And it shows how much trust their coach has in them to be able to do that because he trusts other people to get the runner in.
Abigail Pippin fouls that one away. Foul. Got Pippin a little bit there on the leg.
And you see Backus's MO. I feel like I've watched her enough and I've seen kind of her tendencies. She'll go hard in, something low, like a curveball, into a righty. And so that's like thigh high, knee high, and then she'll go with her changeup. Same height, different speed. So when you think about as a hitter, she's giving them something at the same height, so it looks good, but it's 6, 7, 10 miles an hour slower sometimes. So that's why it's so effective.
Yeah.
And then she'll go with her rise ball out of the zone and see if she can get them to swing.
Kind of the art of pitching and how you want to work through an at bat. Here's a ground ball. Good stop there by Armistead, but she'll have no play. And runners are on the corners now with one away for USC Upstate.
That's a great play by Armistead because if that ball gets by her.
We worked on that in January.
How did we do this? I forgot.
Abby Polk, freshman from Winder.
Woohoo. That's where I live.
Got some family here watching for sure as the 1-0 comes in there for a strike.
So if I'm the hitter right now, I'm looking to get something to the green in the air, get my teammate in, have her tag, and now with that delayed steal, they have second and third, so something on the ground could easily score 2 runners right now.
We'll test this Georgia defense possibly here. And one just misses, and it's been a warm day in Athens. It's a little bit overcast and breezy now. Some weather possibly moving in here in the next couple hours. So working to get this one in here. Here's the 2-1. They swung on and missed there for strike 2. And the runner's going to get to second there on the steal.
Yeah, she's trying to draw that throw from the pitcher, trying to get in a pickle and get that girl home.
Swung on and missed for strike 3, 2 away.
And Backus went back-to-back changeups there, and that's all day, every day for her, and that's what she does well. She has great speed up, she has great location, but she can get you with her changeup all the time.
Amy Johnson, the 9-hitter. With runners in scoring position. Second and third after the stolen base from Pippen. Her second of the season.
Guess she wanted to catch up to everybody else in the lineup.
She's got a little ways to go.
But hey, I need a couple more.
Yeah.
I want to get in the double digits.
Big cut there, 2-2.
And that's the height that Backus wants to get. That's like right at the letters, low rise ball. She wants to get that. She wants to get them swinging because then she can go even higher and see if they can swing and miss.
Full count. Freeze, called strike 3.
I think the word that comes to my mind is chaotic and very competitive because everybody's fighting for something. They want their spot. They want to host. They want to, get into postseason, get into the SEC tournament. There's a lot on the line, and you can see from those numbers they're all very close. With Georgia's remaining schedule, they're all very close, and wins and losses.
Yeah.
So I see that these games are going to be very competitive.
Here's a ground ball up the middle for a base hit. It'll be the second hit of the contest for Georgia, and it's Jaden Goodwin. 4, 5, and 6 for Georgia here in the second. Sarah Mosley grounded out on the first pitch that she saw. Georgia jumping on pitches quickly here. Mosley grounding out on the first one she sees, then Goodwin getting aboard with a single on the first one that she'll look at. Up the middle, good stop. There's one, and there's two. Third inning and top of the order here for USC Upstate. In the dirt, 1-2.
We were talking just now about, I was looking at the stats between the amount of pitches that Upstate has thrown, their pitchers, and the amount of pitches that Georgia has thrown. And combined right now, it's 48 pitches from the Georgia pitchers and 18 pitches for Upstate's pitcher. So you see the difference in, getting on base, who's patient, who's being aggressive. And I think just the difference, Georgia's being super aggressive, but I think right now maybe they can not be less aggressive, but picking their pitches better.
Yeah.
And when they want to go, when they want to swing. Because we've seen so far there's been a lot of ground balls. And so clearly Upstate is making the Georgia pitchers throw. They're making them throw strikes. They're picking pitches that they want to swing at, whether they, hit it or miss it. And that's a huge difference when it comes to getting runners on, having quality at-bats.
Well, working them deep in counts. I mean, Riley Orcutt there in the first 24 pitches. And a lot of 3-ball counts, full counts. 21 pitches there for Backus in the second. Fouls that one back.
So it shows just, offensively, Upstate, you can see their plan, and their plan is to hit good pitches. And Georgia's pitchers they're pitching a lot of up balls, they're pitching a lot of changeups on the ground, so they're really working out of the zone. But when the ball's in the zone, Upstate's swinging at it.
So now to play foul.
Backus really using her off speed tonight. And you can see it's like 8 to 10 miles per hour slower than her normal pitches.
Deal working her deep here. It's fouled off 3 with 2 strikes. Good battle here between these two.
Yeah, it's a great quality at bat. Seeing a lot of pitches and again, making Georgia's pitchers throw a lot of pitches. And that's what you want to do. You gain more knowledge. You figure out what their tendencies are, what she's going to go to. And see who can capitalize.
That one to left field. That one will roll off the wall. Sliding to second easily is on the deal. And it's a 1-out double. And a runner in scoring position for the Spartans.
And that was her off speed. It was low. Maybe not going to be called a strike if she didn't swing at it. But when you got 2 strikes and you've already swung about 20 times, anything within your bat path, you're going to be ready for. And she had already seen a couple of her changeups.
That one misses, 1-0. Celeste Lorenzo walked in the first. So it was a long at bat there for Deal. Fouled off 4 with 2 strikes and got a single out of it. Or double, excuse me.
It's a quality at bat right there.
Yeah. Now in scoring position with 1 away.
And you know what's interesting here? Her first pitch was probably at the letters right at the bottom of her neckline on her jersey. Didn't want it. Didn't even like flinch. Knew she didn't want it. The next pitch, probably a ball and a half lower. Swung for the moon on it. Yep. Then that pitch again, same place. So, and then Backus is staying in that middle rise ball region. And as a hitter, you have to say, that's a ball. And then, or I'm going to swing out of my shoes on this one. You know, it's a very fine line.
Swung on, strike him out, throw him out.
And then Backus has that.
Well, it's a tight margin of error for both players there. Offensively, you don't have a lot of room to judge what you want to swing at. Conversely, Backus is throwing a very narrow plane there, and if you miss a little bit, it may not come back.
Right. And that's the name of the game, and as a pitcher, you have to be aware of those very small margins that you're working within.
Here's a bloop to short, and that'll do it. We head to the
in their season. I think what great teams can do is they make adjustments. They don't let anything get too big. They have faith in the skill set that they have. They trust themselves and their teammates. And you don't ever let the lows get too low, and you don't ever let the highs get too high. So I think for Georgia moving forward, they have to stay consistent.
This defense has been really good to this point. Polk can't make a play there, so Sydney Kuma finds herself aboard. And that's going to be an infield single.
And you can see here Georgia, again, playing situationally. Get a runner on, want to move her with a bunt. So seeing if they can execute this here.
Emily Digby, the freshman. Quickly behind 0-2.
It's tough when you get the bunt sign, you don't get it down, or it's foul, or whatever, and then you watch the next ball go by and it's a strike. So now you're automatically down 0-2, and that's a tough place to be.
Now misses 1 and 2.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see something situational here from Tony.
Ground ball. The play is at first. Works like a bunt there on the 1-3. That'll move Kuma into scoring position.
I think if that ball might have been hit a little bit harder, the pitcher was ready to go 2, but Kuma was already there, so she just went ahead and went 1.
Squared to bunt. Quickly behind 0-2.
So first pitch, she looked like she was going to do like a sneaky bunt, a base hit bunt, whatever you want to call it, to move the runner to third. She has enough speed to be safe at first. Doesn't get that down. Watches the next strike go by. Now she's 0-2. It's a tough position to be in because you can tell Tony wants to get some stuff going, move some runners. Obviously, he trusts his batters to put bunts down. So they just have to make sure they're executing in those situations to be able to move those runners.
Ground ball right back to the pitcher. And good defense there for Manis. Runner at third now with 2 away.
Her glove was right place, right time.
Yes, it was. A liner to the shortstop. Deal reels that one in. And we head to the 4th scoreless. 2. Georgia's offense that ranks at the top of the SEC in several categories has just mustered 1 hit in each inning. 3 innings in the books, scoreless here as we head to the 4th. Ground ball to Mosley. 1 away. No runs, 3 hits, no errors. 4 left for USC Upstate Georgia. No runs, 3 hits, no errors, and just 1 base runner left. Georgia's hit into double plays twice.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you don't want to not continue doing what you're good at, which they can hit the ball. They've shown that. We see that in the stats. They can hit the ball. But there's also a part of it where you're in a lull in your season, forcing a lot of swings, forcing a lot of things on the bases. So in my mind, as a hitter, you want to be aggressively patient. I know that's kind of like an oxymoron, but you want to take your time. The teams that you're playing, they know that you're good. They know that y'all can hit. So same way Georgia does to good hitters, people do that to Georgia.
Yeah.
And you have to know that you are a good hitter. So people are going to pitch around you. People are going to go right at your strengths early on. So you don't want to give them anything extra, right? You want to take your time, get good pitches that you can hit hard. And I think just capitalizing on situational hitting is another big part for Georgia. You see with multiple missed bunts, running into an out on the bases. So
there's a ground ball back to the pitcher. 1-2-3 inning here in the fourth.
Because you can see from her stat line, she's not walking people, she's not striking out people, but nobody scored. So her defense is working hard behind her. She's pitching into a lot of ground balls. We've seen a couple pop-ups, and she scattered those 3 hits so far through the game. But otherwise, low pitch count. Defense is working great. She's going right at them. And that's what you want out of your freshman pitcher.
He's only seen a 3-ball count once, and that was Dallas Goodnight to open the game.
She said, nope, won't happen
Till
again.
now, yeah. Lindy Ray Davis, 2, 3, and 4 for Georgia here in the fourth. Davis grounded out. In a double play. And that was where that base running snafu by Dallas Goodnight, getting greedy, coming around second and getting caught in a rundown. And you don't know what would have happened. Obviously, that was ended up being the second out of the inning, so there's still an out and a runner in scoring position, but you never know. And now Georgia's going to turn a little pressure on here at a pinch runner for Lindy Ray Davis. Be Sydney Chambly.
And that's why I think it's important in these moments, maybe when you're not doing as good as a team as you want to, you still have to trust your teammates. So you don't want to force things to happen. You don't want to run into outs.
There's a little bloop. That one will drop. Chambly had a head start, had to stop and wait for it to drop in. So now Georgia getting into business here. Nobody out, first and second, and a little bit more pressure being applied here to Manis in this Upstate defense.
Next up, third baseman number 33, Sarah.
That's what you want situational-wise. You start off with a walk, then you get a hit, and you just keep passing the bat 60 feet to the next person behind you.
Here's Sarah Mosley. Mosley grounded out the first pitch she saw in the second. Grounded off the plate, and that one will roll foul. We talked last week, how Mosley goes is really a lot in a way, many ways, how this Georgia offense goes, and her season numbers, third in the SEC with RBIs, sixth most among active D1 players, and climbing the ranks there in Georgia history, sixth.
And when you look at when she's up to bat and you look at the people that hit in front of her, they have the highest on-base percentage. So she's in a lot of positions to hit the ball with runners on.
Might have got runners aboard here. That one is gone, dead center. And Sarah Mosley will drive them all in. The offense doing its job. They get aboard. She drives them home. And that'll break open a scoreless game. It's 3-0. That's what makes her so hard. Players get aboard in one swing of the bat can change things.
Yeah, I mean, you get a walk, you get a hit, you get brought in. It's what they've been good at this whole season, and I think the last couple weekends they've just been missing that one hit here, one hit there. And they just, you just got to keep it simple. Swing at good pitches, swing at pitches you can hit well, and then trust the person behind you.
So Georgia takes its first lead of the afternoon on the 3-run home run by Sarah Mosley. Here's Jaden Goodwin with the bases empty. So Chamblee, pinch running for Davis, will score, and Kearney will come across. This one is grounded foul by Goodwin for Mosley. That's her 13th home run of the season, and now 53 RBIs.
And I think what's more impressive watching Sarah Mosley hit is the pitch before that was a foul ground ball.
Yep.
So she can make adjustments very quickly in her at-bats.
There's an adjustment, this one to right center, and off the glove of the center fielder Lauer. Turning at second and coming around is Goodwin. She'll get to third standing. It's a triple. Goodwin turning the Jets on there as she turned first.
Mentally keep everybody in the game.
You kind of build that momentum. There's a strike to Gordon.
And I go back to the leadoff walk in this inning. People don't understand how important walks are sometimes. It starts the inning off and
Yep.
then followed by Jada Kearney's hit to the outfield. Then you have Sarah Mosley comes up with a hit. You just keep passing the bat.
And you saw
Contagious.
action in the USC Upstate bullpen. So they're ready to make a change if needed, but seeing how the freshman Manis can work out of this trouble here in the fourth. Now called strike 3.
And when you face a lineup like Georgia and you have to go through their lineup again as a pitcher and they start making adjustments, that's when I think you start seeing those small adjustments and then the hits start happening.
So Gordon retired on strikes. First strikeout of the contest for Manis. Sydney Kuma, who singled to open the third. Ground ball. Runner's going to go home. The throw is behind. And Jaden Goodwin plates Georgia's 4th run of the contest.
And that's what you want, aggressive base running, speed on the bases. Kuma hits the ball, goes 1, and she's able to beat the ball out at 4.
And we got a pinch hitter for Emily Digby. And it'll be Jaden Fields. There's a ground ball to first. Norris will take it herself, but Georgia plates 4 here in the 4th. Run, they got the scoring started there in the bottom of the 4th. 8-9-1 here for USC Upstate. And she'll swing and miss, and a host of defensive changes. Jaden Fields is on now to play first base. Sarah Gordon, who was the designated player, is now on defensively to catch. There is Gordon. And Sydney Chamblee, who pinch ran, will play right field. 1-1. Misses 2-1. Polk struck out in the second. 3-1.
I think for Upstate, just to continue to be patient and be aggressive with the balls that they are swinging at is still a great game plan here against Bacchus.
Yeah, they've shown great discipline. Chris Hawkins over there at third base.
And you can see him telling her maybe to lay off that higher pitch, which was what they've done well this whole game.
That'll be a leadoff walk for Abby Polk. Both teams have had base runners, just haven't ever been able to string a lot together until Georgia got things moving there in the fourth. I believe we're going to have a pinch hitter here for USC Upstate. It's going to be Emily Stern.
Now batting for USC Upstate, number 32, Emily Stern.
Stern getting a big round of applause. Stern, a freshman from Tequila and Tequila High School, so a lot of Gwinnett County folks here in attendance giving a big round of applause. 263 average here on the season.
It's a great county to be from.
Got a native sitting next to me here.
Here.
Behind 0-2. Offers it that one. Mosley goes to second for one. To first in time, double play. So that'll clear the bases and top of the order now. By a couple steps. Here's a ground ball. Mosley to first. And that'll do it here in the top half.
They're starting to make adjustments. This is a different look, a clean slate. So I think this is a good move here for Upstate.
You saw the Georgia offense wake up a little bit there. In the fourth, Sierra Manis did a great job.
I mean, you really couldn't ask for any better. It got a little, maybe we kept her in a little longer than, we wanted to, or they wanted to. But otherwise, I mean, she had a great outing as a freshman. I think that's what you want out of your freshman and ace pitcher in the circle. And defense made a lot of great plays behind her as well.
9-1-2 for Georgia. Georgia sent 7 to the plate in the fourth. Swung on and missed, 2-2. Count is going to be full.
So she's throwing a little bit slower than Sierra did. So I think the adjustment now is just letting the ball get deeper.
Popped up over the head of the shortstop Deal. And a tough play into no man's land there, and those are always tough plays. Just out of reach. Outside 1-0. Good night. This will be her third appearance of the contest. Single to open the game. Lined out to deal to end the third inning.
This is a great situation for Goodnight here. Nobody out, runner at first. This is when you can, as a slapper, you have all your options in hand here. Bunt, slap, hit. With a runner on first, that shortstop's going to be hugging second base in case she steals or goes for a double play. So you have that 5-6 hole more open than normal if you were a righty hitter.
Yep.
She also has that first base line if she wants to pull that bunt down there, and most likely will be safe with all the speed that she does have. But I think right here, moving the runner, making sure that she can do that for sure, should be her goal here.
Squared to bunt, watches that one come in, 3-1.
Maybe we'll see a hit and run here. I feel like something's on with the speed that they have.
Three one. Hit and run. She'll be safe. Runner's going to go to third, sliding in and safe is Ellie Armistead. Georgia getting aggressive there.
And that's what you want. All eyes are on Goodnight at that point. And so I think they totally forgot about Armistead going from first to third. But that's a great play, great execution by Goodnight, and great hustle by Armistead getting to third.
So here's Sydney Chambly. Came in defensively in the top half of the inning after pinch running in the fourth. Ball gets away, going home and sliding in safe is Armistead. Georgia plates its fifth run of the afternoon. Just a poor throw back to the pitcher. Of course, Goodnight, very speedy, so stealing second there just opens up.
And I think it's more important to think about Armistead going from first to third on that specific play with Goodnight, because in that situation with a bad throw, she only gets to third base, maybe not.
Yeah.
If she doesn't go to third, but since she did go to third, it's an easy score.
Yeah.
To home.
It'll be a stolen base coming home there for Armistead after Goodnight stole second. And yeah, talked about Goodnight's aggressive base running in the first, maybe taking a potential run off the board there and turning it into an out, but see why Georgia is aggressive. It works out in their favor there. As the 1-2 is lifted to center, coming in as Lauer. She'll make the catch.
And that's why you have to have a short memory. You don't want to forget, but just you don't want to focus on it the whole game. That happens in the first inning. Get over it, move on, and then make yourself valuable later in the game by putting the bunt down, stealing, being aggressive on the bases again, and let's get getting that run back.
Popped up. Foul territory and unable to get the catch there is Norris. Right up against the camera well over there. Mark Bridges working our first base camera. Got the sun hat on. I see Unicorn and T-Rex loosening in the bullpen.
They're just waiting to get on the field.
They are ready to stretch those
They probably
legs.
were wanting to go get that pop fly just now.
Well, T-Rex has got short arms. I don't know how good of a fielder.
It looks like his mouth is a good place for that ball to go.
That serves as a good glove there as the 0-1 goes outside.
And I think this is a good opportunity for Kearney to make a small adjustment from that foul pop-up that she just hit and see if she can get, have better timing, let that ball get a little bit deeper.
We mentioned as a team, Georgia leading the SEC in so many categories. Jada Kearney tied for the league lead individually with 15 home runs. Of course, Mosley with 13 now, as this one is lifted foul out of play.
And I think as you get later in the season, it's all about picking the pitches that you swing at. Yes, Georgia has home run power. We know that probably all the way through their lineup. But other people also know that too. So when scouting reports, what are they swinging at? What are their tendencies? Will they swing first pitch? Can they hit inside? Can they hit changeups? There's a lot of scouting going on, so it's even more important as you get through the season to be a very calm, cool, and collected hitter and pick pitches that you can hit well.
Fouled out of play.
Because at this point, everybody knows that Jada Kearney can hit.
Yep.
And she has a lot of power. So knowing which pitches you want to hit, being very disciplined at the plate is really important as the season progresses.
3-2 is sent to the gap in left. Getting waved around is Goodnight. She'll score. Kearney goes to second. RBI double for Jada Kearney. And Georgia leads 6-0. Get the scoring going. To right and into the glove. And Georgia will get aggressive and slide into third. And safely tag it up and getting there is Eaton. And 2 away. Jaden Goodwin fouls one away.
And it seems like now Georgia seems a little bit more relaxed at the plate. They're swinging at better pitches collectively as a team than they were the first couple innings. And I think when you play games, you play obviously 7+ innings. So being able to make small adjustments, being able to make adjustments pitcher to pitcher, and then doing that as a team is usually what great teams do. And so Georgia being able to do that from the last couple weekends, just haven't seen that turnover. I think they've done a good job at that tonight.
The 1-1 goes outside, 2-1. Of course, Georgia, 8 runs after 4.5 here would win the game, so a home run would walk it off for Georgia.
And that might give them a breath of fresh air after the last couple weekends that they've had.
Gearing up for the final 3 SEC series of the season. Here's a ground ball in the short, and that'll get over to first. And that'll do it. 6th inning, and on a deal. Looks at a ball, and we got a minute. Appreciate our crew bringing you the action here from Athens in this final midweek contest of the season for Georgia. In the dirt, 2-0. Blake Hines and Trey Morrow producing and directing, and camera is covered up. A little bit of weather coming into the area. Mark Bridges over at first base there. 2-0 in there for a strike. 2-1. Van Johnson out in center up on the platform. Hunker down, sir. Brian Gierach over at third base, and Austin Simmons up high above home plate up here next door to us. Back in the control room at Sanford Stadium, Hunter Beasley, Will Resch, Abby Benefield, John Ostergaard, Liam England, Aiden Daly as this one's sent to left. Connor Bilbo pressing the buttons and keeping the pirate ship afloat here as we head to the 6th inning. Appreciate everybody and everything that they do to make TV magic on a Wednesday night in Athens. There's Celeste DiLorenzo walking a strikeout for her this afternoon.
And I like from Howard, she's just going right at him. Making like the first batter she faced, went right at her. She hit it. Defense is there to cover it. So as a pitcher, you know, you don't want your goal to be to strike everybody out, right? You have people behind you to play defense, and I think that's what good pitchers, they can do that. They can pitch their pitches and trust their defense. And right now Howard has 2 outs with limited amount of balls pitched, and that's what you want when you get your chance to come in and pitch.
Want to let the defense work, and good defense there is Armstead coming over from short to get that foul ball. So 8 pitches now and 2 away. Here's Carson Shaw. Shaw 0 for 2. Reached on the fielder's choice, and she has popped out. Into foul territory, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Destin Howard.
Continuing through the season, and really, really competitive for both teams.
Faith Wharton, new catcher for USC Upstate. The 1-0 is sent to right field. That ball's off the top of the wall. And that ball is gone. A leadoff home run for Sarah Gordon. Her 4th home run of the season. And now Georgia a run away from run rule.
And you see the home run power all the way through the lineup, and that's why Georgia's such a good offensive team, is that they have power 1 through 9, and you just never know who it's going to be. You never know who's going to show up that day. But when they all show up, they show up.
So Gordon takes the 1-0 out of here. Here's Sydney Kuma, base is empty and no one out. Ground ball, that one through the hole. And it'll be Jaden Fields who will bat again here for Emily Digby. She batted in the 4th.
Fields has had a lot of pinch hit at bats lately.
Yeah.
Last couple weekends. Hasn't been able to get that hit, get that big hit, runners on, big situations. I know she had a big one against Tennessee that weekend. And so I'm really looking for her to just continue to progress through the season. She's going to continue to get our opportunities. And she has the power. She has the potential to be that person that's going to get that hit. And I think that's why Tony continues to give her the opportunities, because he knows that she has that potential and he trusts her.
Well, pinch hitting is such an interesting thing because you come in, sometimes you maybe pinch hit in a game that's not competitive, but that's where you plant those seeds of trust of when the game is on the line and you got to have a hit, you get your number called.
Yeah, it's a hard job. It's a very hard job, and you have to have a mentality going into the game, and you have to stay engaged the whole game because you don't know when your name's going to get called. You don't know if you're going to even get an opportunity. But in practice, in games, you have to make the most of those opportunities. And, yeah, it's a tough job.
You're going to get limited at bats, possibly. And when you get your number called, you're expected to hit.
Yeah, and depending on who you're playing, I mean, you could be getting your bat against the top-ranked pitcher in the country.
Yep.
You don't know, you don't know who you're going to get in a bat off of or when you're going to get in a bat.
And I'd imagine, too, it's such a momentum. When you're hitting good, you're seeing the ball well. When your number primarily is called in one-offs here and there, it can be hard to get in any sort of a rhythm and maybe see the ball well. So players that pinch hit well, that's a real talent, and Fields has done it well.
That takes a different type of athlete to be good in those positions because that's not easy. And how do you practice for that?
Yep.
You go through the same reps everybody else does, and then randomly your name gets called. You never know ahead of time. If you're a starter, you're starting.
Yep.
You're going to get at bats.
Fields has been an everyday player at times for Georgia, but coming off the bench here tonight, we'll have a pinch hitter here for Ellie Armistead. And Tyler Ellison will stand in. That one misses for a ball, 1-0. See the runner at first in Sinikuma.
Ellison is another hitter that Coach Tony gives a lot of opportunities for pinch hit situations too. And I think it speaks volumes to these players that get those opportunities often as a pinch hit in these games, because I feel like what he's trying to do is prepare them for postseason. As you get into it, a lot of these matchups, if you're facing a lefty pitcher, you predominantly want a righty hitter to face that. So if you have a pinch hitter that can come in for a lefty maybe, then that's something that Coach Baldwin's going to look to do. So this is just giving them reps, giving them different looks and opportunities to do that.
That's a fair ball. That one's going to roll to the corner. Getting waved around is Kuma. Kuma steaming to home. And Georgia will walk it off here in the 6th with the